It's a child-sized view.
Child-sized.
It's like fuchsia and
That's
like
$10.
sherbet.
It does. The NIL jerseys they made.
We are live. We
Are
are
we
live.
live? Wait. Hi, Mom.
What's going on?
Hello, Miss.
We're going to save the shot of this for the actual program.
All right, guys. You're not on yet, right?
I mean, it's live, but
live.
it's not live.
That's my ass.
That brings the ratings.
Welcome to the Spring Game Pregame Show. I am your host, Pete B, but I did not say too deep because this is a collaboration episode. Let me introduce my fellow co-hosts, collaborators. I've got Siegler from the Boundary Corner.
BCP, baby, let's go.
I've got Dan from Tales from the Terrordome.
TTD in a building, baby.
And I've got my co-host on Too Deep, Sam Jesse.
I don't say anything cool after you say that. I usually just do this.
Yes. You just give the salute,
That's the
Sam.
what's up.
So I'll stick.
Well, thank you guys all for being here. We are live from Chicken Hill. I've had a great day so far. We actually got good Blacksburg weather, fellas.
The vibes are immaculate on Chicken Hill. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, the great weather is a great omen for the start of a new regime, I would say.
And I need to ask Sam, what did we have for dinner last night? Because it was great.
Calzone from the cellar.
Yes, indeed. If you haven't had a calzone at the cellar, for some reason, there's a place in the middle of Southwest Virginia that makes an absolutely banging calzone.
Is this an Adam Scott bit? What are we doing here?
I'm trying to have some pleasantries, talk about last night. I missed you guys out at the bars.
Yeah, 81 traffic was that bitch. So we did not get into town proper until 9 p.m. even though we left at 4.
Yes. I sat down at dinner at the University Club at 6:30, and our food came at like 8:25. And then by the time we were finished, downtown was crazy. So I was like, I think I'll just wait till tomorrow.
This guy, University Club. Where's your monocle, Dan? Come on. No.
Hey,
I'm
Show
hoping,
the monocle, baby.
I'm actually hoping to be
That
up in the
costs
University
$5.
Club a little bit later.
I will ask the people, has anybody here had a chocolate cake shooter from the cellar?
Yeah.
Nobody? Was that just me? I thought it was like the cellar's drink. It's delicious.
Sam
It
bought
tastes
me
like
one
chocolate
last
cake.
night. It was phenomenal. I don't know how it tasted like chocolate, but it was hazelnut liqueur. I mean, this is a little bit of a fancy boy drink, but hazelnut liqueur and Absolute Citron.
Yep.
It went down easy. In any case, I want to know what you guys are drinking. We're going to get to position battles. We're going to get to all the things about the spring game in 1 second. But Sam, what are you drinking over there?
We got a classic here in Allagash White from Maine. Best beer in the world. It comes from Maine.
That's a stellar review, Sam.
That's a good answer because I was just in Maine 2 weeks ago, and I agree with that.
It's better than Germany.
Dan, I know
better
what you
than
got
Southern
going
Germany.
on.
I'm drinking the best morning drink ever crafted. I would say it's handcrafted, but it was actually crafted by God. Ice cold Miller latte. I highly recommend. In a Tales from the Terrordome koozie, available at the SWVAshop.com.
Shout out SVWA Shop. Did I say that right? SWVAshop.com.
You
You
did.
nailed it.
Brian, what are you having?
All right, I'm up next. So I've got a couple things. I've got a little surf side. It's the tea version. It's in the Bourbon Gobblers. Shout out the Tailgate. But also on the side here, anyone that tuned into State of the Program 2022 for Boundary Corner Podcast knows about the Evan Bonded and Bond, or also known as Evan Williams White Label.
Oh,
I've got a little this here, and I'm going to go ahead and just take this to the head while we're waiting.
Yes, sir. There he goes. Give the man a round of applause. Brian has actually 2 years ago chugged a rail live on this show, so a shot is a nice downgrade for you.
Yeah.
Hey.
You know, that's just one of the two.
We're keeping up traditions.
My wife appreciates you.
I am drinking a Dad Strength. This is, I think, is a Trader Joe's shout out. Not exactly sure. 2.9%. But I also have a beer that Hokey Hack himself provided me from Center of the Universe, the Brewski. Thank you. Shout out to Hokey Hack.
Okay,
Always
that's a
supporting the
great
show.
brewery. Good call. Good call.
Shout out Hokey Hack, Hokey Nation's Road Warrior.
All right, let's get to the content people might actually want to hear. Position battles we're watching today throughout spring. Today's about clarity, right? We want to see some things on the field that maybe we're not so sure about. Sam, I'll ask you first since you're my co-host. What do you want clarity on today?
I mean, offensive line is the easy one, but I know these guys are going to talk the big boys up front, so I'll go wide receiver 3, we know our top two. We got Queso and we got Salsa Verde, but we need that third guy. And I'm pretty pumped up for Luke Stewie.
Luke Stewie.
Northeast Ohio represent.
Rich Luttenberger, friend of the show and Sons of Saturday writer, was hanging out with Luke's dad last night.
Luke's dad, former Hokie.
Former Hokie. Brian, what are you watching?
I feel like it's the low-hanging fruit as well to like talk about the offensive line. I'm actually looking at the defensive line. When we talk about pass rusher, that was one of the problems we struggled with last year. You compound that with what we were dealing with at the cornerback from a depth perspective. It was a bad 1-2 punch. We need to be able to get after the passer. We need to bring the quarterback to the ground. That was a problem last year. So I'm looking at DN.
You watching Asen Stevens? Do you think he's a starter on the end?
I think Asen is going to be in that like first 3 out group. I'm interested to see how the transfers work into that. You know, you got Hilson working in there, Sammy Sachs working in there.
Okay.
You know, between the two of those plus what Asen can do, I'm interested to see what they can do on the spring game.
And echoing your defensive line point, Kamari Copeland may be our biggest offseason acquisition, at least in terms of bringing him back. Like could be the highest paid player on our roster
Big
outside
time.
of maybe the quarterback. So we'll be watching him as well.
And he was, you know, he talked about it live. He's like, I got a lot of people trying to entice me into the portal.
Yeah.
So there's the discourse out there about what was going on with tampering. You know, I'm going to put that in air quotes because everybody's tampering at this point.
Yeah, it's true. Dan, what position battle are you hoping to get some clarity on today?
It's the secondary, man. Corners and safeties. Because last year it was a little spooky. But this year we got a healthy Josh Clark, Jay Cinco. Shout out my cousin. Then we got Jaquez White coming in. We beat Tennessee out for that guy. We gave up too much last year everywhere on defense, but especially in the run game, with the run fits, with the safeties, and nobody could cover a single thing last year. And I'm really looking forward to seeing basically what I want to see today is when I record after spring game podcast, I want the things that are supposed to look the way they're supposed to look the way they're supposed to look.
Yeah. And fortunately, we've gotten healthier. We brought in 2 corners in the portal. Josh Clark should be back healthy again, who Brent Pry said could have been a starter last year if not for his injury. And so I'm very excited about the secondary. I think Sam and I are high on that position, although it did struggle last year. So I definitely want to see that.
We're only going up on the secondary.
Yes.
There's nowhere left to go down. So.
Let me ask you guys about the most important position, quarterback. Is there any competition going on at 1, 2, or 3? How do you see it, Brian?
I think Grunk is him. I think there's a battle in name only. I think Grunk is coming in and asserting himself as the de facto starter. But I think at the same time, Franklin wants to establish a culture where your job is never secure. So the moment you feel that security, we're going to put something on you to feel like you've got to be pressed to the next level. Yeah. So that's what I feel like at this point. I feel like the battle is going into the fall because they want the best from Ethan Grunkmeyer as they can get, not because he's not the de facto starter.
Dan, do you think there's any battle for 2 with Troy Hoon and I'm blanking? What's his name, Sam?
Bryce Baker.
Bryce Baker, yes.
No disrespect to the young man who wears number 22 at quarterback, Bryce Baker. From what I understand, it doesn't seem like there really is. It seems like Troy's arm is just better at this point. And I think that Bryce knew when he took the scholarship offer from the Hokies out of the transfer portal that he probably wasn't really going to see much. And also, another confirming factor is when they said they were going to do a wildcat and they were going to insert the guy to catch the snap that they just moved out of the quarterback room. I feel like with Bryce being able to be mobile too, that it says everything you need to know about that position battle.
That's a really good segue into kind of our next thing, which was, hey, who are guys that we're maybe looking at today? AJ Brand. We kind of forgot about this guy, really good athlete out of state of South Carolina. And they move him from quarterback to wide receiver because they're like, look, you're not a college quarterback, but you're a really good athlete. Let's find a way to get you on the field. We've started to see him kind of pick up momentum throughout this spring. If he can show him that he can do a few things, I would not be surprised if Virginia Tech's running some Wildcat in September.
Yeah, and I'll jump in here because, like, personally, one of the things that, Aaron Brand is actually a Halifax County legend. I don't know if you know that. This is AJ Brand's dad here. He is a Halifax County legend, won the state championship for Halifax in 1991. So I'm going to always plug an Aaron Brand plug here.
And I heard he was doing well at wide receiver.
Yeah, doing well at wide receiver. So I think that's the big thing that we need to talk about here is that, it seems like the adjustment has been pretty seamless for him. AJ's always been an athlete, man. And so when you talk about moving to the wide receiver position, I don't necessarily know that he's going to challenge those like 3 or 4 best guys, but I think he's a guy that can go out there and make a situation where he is a useful tool in this offense, whether it's Wildcat, whether it's a mismatch in the slot, whatever it may be.
And I wasn't expecting the AJ Brand comment, but for me, I feel like I'm definitely keying in on wide receivers. Like you said it, Sam, and we've talked about it a lot on our show. But Dan, who are you at the wide receiver position? Who do you want to see score a touchdown today? Like, who are you watching?
He's finally healthy. Number 6, Keelan Adams.
Let's go.
Best wide receiver to ever play in the state of Virginia.
All right.
Has all the records. Highly recruited, highly touted coming in. Just want to see him make some plays, be healthy, have some fun, and score a touchdown.
Yes, and I totally agree. I think Hokie Nation collectively had a lot of high hopes for Keelan Brody Adams when he came in, and he has battled injuries, but today's a big day for him, and it's a big day for that whole room because it's open, right? That third wide receiver spot is open. We're waiting to find out how the hierarchy shakes out. Where else are we watching? I want to get a couple more names, and then we can pivot.
Where else am I watching? I'm always watching the offensive line, right? And like we probably aren't going to see a whole lot of Logan Holland today. Anticipated that, I think, at the start of the spring. How much of Justin Terry do we see at tackle? The way the rosters are split is really interesting, and we're going to talk about that more later. I know that. But offensive line, when we look at that and we look at the cornerback room last year, those are probably the 2 weakest units, especially post-Prize early departure last year. Offensive line has to get better. So I'm looking at that heavily today and seeing kind of where those guys are mixing in.
Is the offensive line the group that we need to see improve the most?
Yes.
I would say that, and then tight end and wide receiver blocking is so important in the modern offense, and we were not good at that last year. You bring in a lot of tight ends. You bring in a big-time tight end culture. Can you get some blocking out of the tight ends? Can Benji Gosnell improve as a blocker? What do you get out of those guys you brought over from Penn State? And like Exenor, right? Is Exenor a guy who you can see on the field because he can block somebody?
Yeah. Sheldon Moss is singing your praises right now, Sam, because like the one thing that we were looking at last year and like looking at the PFF grades and looking at all that is like tight end blocking was bad.
It's bad.
All last year.
Yeah.
And which is interesting because in the Montgomery offense, like they're not a factor in the passing game at all. So if you're not bringing some degree of blocking to the table,
you're just a body out there.
You're basically out there just to, put your number in the record book, right? Like at that point, if you're not blocking well, you're not doing anything.
Yeah. I need to see a good O-line play, obviously, today. Less like cut out the false starts, the mental stuff, everything you can control it. Kyle Altuner, I feel pretty good about, obviously. He showed a lot of flashes last year. Mm-hmm. This year, it's going to be – I'm interested to see what Johnny Garrett, if they take another step in their second year with Matt Moore, what the new guys that came in are going to look like. The running back room, because, we had Bishop, and he was amazing. He's obviously doing well with the Jaguars, but an underrated part of his game was his ability to pick up a block out of the backfield. We missed it a lot when he got hurt. So I'm interested to see how well our running backs do that exercise as well.
And we are a little short on running backs this spring as well. Yep. I mean, we're going to see one of our top 2 in Jeff Overton today, which that's a guy I'm incredibly excited about going forward.
Him.
You think like Jeff in all capital letters? But yeah, him and Marcellus Hawkins, who's been out for the spring, are probably our 1-2. But Bill Davis needs to have an impressive day. And then if we're thinking about our defense, how much they struggled last year, like we need to see some improvement from the secondary, as we said at the top of the show, and that line. Like, I don't know where the pressure is going to come from outside of Kamari Copeland. We need to see some good D-line execution today. That's what I would say.
Need to see some good filling from the linebackers, too. And linebacker play had to improve greatly.
Phil and fit. So we're talking about when you talk about fit, you're talking about linebackers. When you talk about Phil, we got the safeties coming up here. I think those are two of the things that we got to look at of the interplay between the second level and the third level of the run defense this year.
I mean, the safety play for a couple years in a row has been so lacking in terms of run defense. It just guys missing all over the place. And so fit and fill, absolutely. That's going to do it for segment 1. We're coming back in 3 minutes for segment 2. Sam's going to drive. We'll be right back.
Who's over there? You guys good?
Yeah. Fuck you, buddy. I got you a whole tray of food, y'all.
Oh my God, Josh, can I try on your glasses?
I'm out of control when I'm crushing on you. She don't tell me no when I'm touching on her. H-Town nigga love her with her. Baby, come here, I'ma grip on you. Y'all niggas ain't got nothing to say. Oh, what you gonna say about her? Y'all know I pull up a spray. Oh, I don't play about her. Y'all know I'm finna go late. Yeah, I'm gonna stay around her. Call me Cassius Clay. Oh, I go crazy about her. You like to them? I'm gonna get it. Keys to the bitch house, know the shit's cold. Driving with Sprite with the motherfucker card. I've been going crazy, spraying cash with my pride. I need me a key.
No light. Por favor. Damn. I didn't want it. No, that one. Sorry. That one. Yeah, that one.
What's up, brother? How you doing? Hey, man. Good to see you. How you doing? This is my grandpa's beer. That's all he drank. He was a great man. He was not a comedian. He was a great man. No, he was a great man. Back in January, take my niece and nephew to a car show in Bristol.
I was going up to Fullan last night for the Christian club, coming into the lap 2, and 80 feet up somewhere on.
We are back. Sam, are you ready?
I'm ready, man. Let's do it.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so the format of this game, I think James Franklin overall wants this to be as much of a actual football game as he can realistically get today. We're not expecting everyone live. Quarterbacks, they're not going to be live. Thank goodness. We pay too much money for those guys from to be live. But we're going to get some stuff. So the first quarter is going to be a regular clock, regular football game. We're going to have a running clock after that. Short breaks in between the quarters. And we're going to run. He's looking for about 90 plays. We'll see if he times that out right. But what are you guys' thoughts for how he's breaking up this spring game, mixing up the rosters, not doing a offensive ones versus defensive ones type thing, just mixing it up, trying to get mano-a-mano?
Curtis is not here, thankfully, so he would have something to say about this. But, I think if we're looking at a balance from a casual format and, a guy that wants to really dive into what those depth charts are looking like, I feel like this is probably the best case scenario because you've got a maroon team that is mostly ones. If I was kind of circling a one of the a depth chart, I would say maroon has a whole lot more ones than white team does today.
And I think that's how he wants it that way. So our guys can actually perform. I like the format a lot. And the first quarter, Sam, is going to be like a regular quarter, like clock, whatever. And then after that, it's going to speed up, which I also think will keep the fans engaged because he said there's no breaks. There's essentially like a timeout between the quarters.
We're moving in. We're moving with this, which I think will be good to keep things moving along. It'll keep people engaged, but also it'll test these coaches and all right, how quickly can we get the play in? Yep. How quickly can we get the call in? Can we make adjustments at the line? We're not going to be sitting here lollygagging for 30 to 40 seconds in between plays and drives. We're going to get this thing moving, which I think will be a good test for them to make this as much of game speed as you probably could for right now.
And Franklin I'm sorry, Dan.
Oh, you good, dude.
He wants this as a test case for a real game day.
Yeah.
And you know him, like no grass grows under his feet. Like he wants this to be exactly the best thing he can. That's why he wants the stadium full. He wants it as close to a game day as possible. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, like I appreciate his honesty too. He's like, we're not doing a halftime. You do a halftime at spring game, you come out, everybody's gone. He's like, we're just gonna play. He's like, we're gonna have little games in between like quarters. Like he's like, we're gonna go out there and get after it, and you need to keep your ass in your seat.
Yeah. That's right. Hey, let me jump in here real quick because I want to give a little bit of a shout out. Shout out this tailgate because
yes, indeed.
Because we got people standing wall to wall here as we're going live here.
I mean, there must be 500 people here.
You know what?
Who's
We're not going to do the Elon Musk thing, but at the same time, I think we got a pretty good showing here, and the enthusiasm behind this program has been, since Franklin has got here, has been definitely next level, and I appreciate everyone coming out, joining us, interacting with us. Like it's been really a pleasure to experience this tailgate atmosphere this morning. So
And
shout out to everyone.
Shout out to everyone that came out. Shout out to Steven and Nate for putting this together. The food, Steven just dropped off a plate of wings over here.
Yeah, he did.
Hell yeah.
Drop off that meat, dude.
Oh, wait, he's got something else.
Uh-oh.
He's bringing it. This is college game day.
I
Look
know
at this.
that was my first thought.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, deviled eggs. Let's go. Deviled eggs, cornbread, muffins.
All right,
baked
Sam,
beans.
I'm going to have to eat something, so you should move on to
I'm
the
going
next
to move
question.
on to so every spring game, somebody has a performance that comes out of nowhere, and it's a good sign for the rest of the season. We're going to call that the Caleb Smith Award. So, fellas, who wins the 2026 Caleb Smith Award for spring game performance? We're all chewing. It must be pretty good. I'm rocking with Luke Stewie.
You're going with
he's,
Stewie?
He's my guy I'm rocking with today.
All right.
But who else do we got on the docket?
I think it's going to be Jeff. I mean,
Jeff Jr.
It's going to be Jeff Overton. I think he's going to have a
JOJ.
huge day. The offensive line, especially with the ones, that's a big offensive line. I think they're probably significantly ahead of the second team offensive line. I think he's going to run wild.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in here because, like, I don't know if Dan's going to take him, but our buddy, Chris Lester's sitting over there. His lovely wife is sitting over there. I think we're going to see a Brody come out game today. I think Brody Adams is going to be him today. I think we're going to see all that potential finally realized in the spring game, and it's going to be amazing. So I'm looking forward to that.
That would be great.
Give me Noah Chambers.
That's a good pick. That's a good pull.
I'm going Noah Chambers.
How many tackles we thinking for Noah today?
12.
12 tackles?
In running quarters? That'd be impressive.
Hey,
that would be impressive.
If anybody can do it, 16 can do it.
Okay.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
Sam, do you have any other
Not
picks
12.
for Caleb Smith? Just getting another name out there. I'm just trying to think.
Yeah, you know, I find this a little weird. We aren't talking enough about Benji Gosnell this offseason.
Yeah.
Like, I know they brought in Luke Reynolds is really talented, brought in some younger guys, but he's a damn good tight end, and he's now playing in a tight end-centric offense. Like, this guy could have a big, big year.
I'm also wondering, in the secondary, like we're talking about Caleb Smith Award, what gets you that award? Picks.
Yeah.
Is there a kid who picks somebody off? Is there a kid who gets 2 picks or just knocks a ball down like Polydor? Like, I mean, he might be playing on second team. What if he gets a pick? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some interesting things that could happen in the secondary.
Let's talk about the true freshmen that are going to make some impacts. And you mentioned Polydor, like right out the gate. I think he's a guy that can make an impact. So that's important. That's important. And, you know, when we look at guys that have moved in, you know, we got White that's moved in. I think that's going to be a big improvement along the secondary there. So there's a lot of guys that can make some impact in this game.
And that is interesting, like with the transfers, guys we haven't seen, we've just heard about in practice so far. White and Chadwick's look to be our starting corners. We've never seen them play in a uniform for Virginia Tech. So I'm watching that as well.
You know who needs to show me something today? And I don't think they're going to win this award, but if they did, it would pleasantly surprise me. Tyson Flowers.
Yeah,
that
that's a
man
good- that's a
being
good
in
one,
the starting lineup right now scares the piss out of me because he was terrible last year. And
I don't think the coaching was very good in the back end.
I
last
need
year.
it. I need
And
him to
see
prove
in the
us wrong.
IBM category as well. Like, I feel like those two in particular.
Yeah.
Like, if we're having conversations about returning production on defense, I feel like IBM and Flowers are the two biggest returning production guys
Yes.
that need to level up their game.
Well,
1000%.
Tyson checks all the boxes. I do remember Josh Pate last year tweeted about Tyson Flowers and was like, this is the kind of guy you want on your football team.
Yeah.
He's got to show it on the field now.
Yeah, that's a pretty important aspect of playing football.
Yeah. I need the safeties to fill all their roles better.
Please.
Yep. And I'll tell you, if there's a guy on here, so our next thing is who's a guy who could have standout performance that we need to pump the brakes on a little bit. I'm going to keep off that Jordan Bass. I think because he's
Sam's a big Jordan Bass guy.
I'm a big Jordan Bass fan. I don't know really where he fits in. And like Pete's been preaching all winter and all spring, we have a lot of dudes back there. A lot of guys who are fighting for starting position. Jordan Bass makes some pop plays, but we don't know what's going on behind closed doors and if he's out playing those guys back there. So he could have some highlights today, and we don't necessarily see him running with the ones or even twos against VMI.
I'm a Jordan Bass believer. I respect that. Who am I going to go with, man?
It's a tough thing because you don't want to say like, oh, this guy's going to show out and then stink. It's more of that you think like
I've done that a lot.
This young player could have a great, but we might not really see him this season.
Hoon could be the guy.
It could be Troy Hoon.
It could be Troy Hoon. I hope that it is because I'm not so convinced that Hoon isn't going to be our second quarterback. I'm really not. The rumor that he went 18 of 20 in that scrimmage, if he comes out today and gets some reps and is like has the Hendon Hooker spring game where he goes like 10 out of 10 or something, then people are going to start talking about him as like the next guy, like behind Grunk. Because I do think it's a clear line, but Troy Hoon's going to be fun to see what he can do today.
Yeah, I'm taking Sheldon Robinson.
Oh, one of
Give
the
me
safeties.
Sheldon Robinson. He played very well last year. I was surprised to hear, that I don't know what his situation is right now as far as reps go, but all I've been hearing about is obviously Q Reddish is the guy that came back. We needed that a lot, but Sheldon Robinson played his ass off last year, and I think he's going to show out today, and he's going to force them to make tough decisions about who's cracking that too deep this year. Come VMI.
Drink.
Too deep.
All right, what we got next there?
Jamari Deloach. Let me throw a little Jamari Deloach note in here.
I like it
while we're going here, because I think Jamari could really show out in this spring game. I'm really questioning whether is there enough snaps available for him and IBM in the fall for him to really make a difference in this team that we're looking for. And I know my man Chris Lester's over there probably thinking the same thing. So when I'm looking at the nickel corner position, it's really IBM, Deloach.
Well, it's Wosley or Woosley.
Woosley too is in the mix as well. So but those three I feel like are gonna I think Deloach could make a late game splash in this one.
Right.
That
then we have to cool. Yes.
There may be a cool down.
Yes.
At that point.
Indeed.
What could you see today that's like, fellas, we're winning 10 games? What makes you overreact today?
I'll start.
I'll go last.
I think I said the guy who's going to have the MVP performance was Jeff Overton.
Yeah.
If Jeff Overton runs for 200 yards in the spring game,
200.
Then
I hope to God
I'm just
he's not
saying,
on the field
if that were to happen, that means the offensive line played absolutely outstanding. And Jeff is him, as Brian said. That would make me think, okay, this team might be able to win 10 games. If 200 in a spring game would be insane. But that's what I need to. That's why I don't think we're winning 10 games. That's why it needs to be so high.
I think when we see Grunkmeyer going 75% plus from an efficiency standpoint, I feel like that's something that our offense has not had in a while. An efficient quarterback that can make all the throws, can complete things well, is accurate with the football. We have not seen that at least since Hendon Hooker. So getting something like that on a spring game would definitely give me confidence in what we're going to do in the fall.
I don't think there's anything today that can make me say, yeah, we're winning 10 games, but that doesn't mean I'm not excited. I'm very excited. I think that the aura and the feeling that's going on in Blacksburg right now is very special. And in 5 years from now, there's going to be some dude that uses numbers about the Franklin era for revisionist history. I love numbers, but you can use them to prove your point. It's probably going to be some Penn State burner, but they're going to try to ruin this feeling that we have right now. And we can't let that happen because what we're feeling right now is important because it's hope.
I mean,
this is the house that Frank Beamer built. This is the house that Michael Vick built. This is the house that Don V. Fridays built, that Two built, that Tales from the
Don
Transfer
V.
Portal
Friday,
built,
shout out, baby.
that Tales from the Terrordome built, that Sons of Saturday built, that everybody that's ever tailgated their Virginia Tech football game built.
Woo.
And we have to hold on to this feeling because we are due for great things, and it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be this year, but we're going to see the bones of that bench come together, and we're going to come out looking like a 10 at some point.
A 10, that makes a lot of sense there, Dan. And you know what? We have earned it. As we've been slogging through these years of bad football.
This fan base, like, I just want to give a little bit of a time here for the shout out to this fan base because we have stuck with everything that happened in the 2000s, early 2010s. We rolled with it for over a decade, and we're still here. We're still showing out.
It's
we're
more
still
crowded
ready
than ever
for this type of day. I'm so impressed with Hokie fandom and for the following that all of these guys up here have day to day that lets us be a part of your community. So this is a shout out to you, but also a shout out to Hokie Nation in general.
Yeah, dude, I'm just saying, like, this feeling you have right now, remember that shit. Cherish that, keep it, because nobody can take it from you. It's in the moment, dude.
Yeah.
And the moment is
enjoy the day, enjoy this weather.
Are you guys some gambling men?
Yeah.
Woo.
All righty. So I got two bets for you guys today. Over under 42.5 points scored.
Give me that under. Give me that under, baby.
I'm going over.
I don't know if I want to go over. I don't know if that's good or bad.
I'm
42.5.
It could be whatever you want it to
when
be.
we talk about this, so Dan makes a good point there. You've got Brent Pry coming back as defensive coordinator within the Franklin regime. You probably want to see less points scored today than more. And that's not necessarily a knock to Howell and what he's doing offensively, but Pry is going to need a whole lot more leash in this Franklin situation than Howell's going to need.
That's fair. I'm going to go over, but slightly.
Yeah, I'm going over as well. The 2D boys are over. Looks like the other two are under.
Just slightly. And then my next one, and this is another one you can look at either side of it. Over under 3.5 turnovers today.
Oh, I got to go under. I'm going under, but I think
we got a lot of backups in the game. Backup quarterbacks.
Yikes. I've heard some things about Bryce, and I've heard some things about Hune, and I think we're going to go over on that, but it's not going to be a Grunkmeyer situation.
Fumbles or just interceptions?
Overall.
Look, dude, I think it's going to be over, but at the same time, I need these quarterbacks to take the Brett Favre mentality, not, supporting Southern Miss women's volleyball. But if you're going to throw one, keep throwing them, dude. Like, just get out there and sling your gun.
I'll say this. If we're going over 3.5 turnovers today, it better be the second team. If we get 4 turnovers from the first team, we're in trouble, boys.
In my opinion, it was like a Keldon, Bryce Baker thing more than a drunk thing.
I see that. I can see that.
Not all turnovers are created equal, so we will see on that one. I'm going to go under, but that's a good line by me.
Yeah,
that's good. That's a good one. That's a good line by me. That'll do it for our second segment. We're going to take a little break. We got some absolute beauty of a platter in front of us right now. That's staring me in the eyes.
We're
going to take a food break, a drink break, and we will be back in 3-5 minutes, whatever it be.
So much meat.
Third segment gets a little loose, so stay tuned.
Very loose. Very loose. You let me run this show, so that's how it goes.
I'm sick and tired of all these people saying names. I don't want to die when they set the record straight. I gotta stay alive for my fucking soulmate. You can never understand, it can never be the same. I never wanna change for me. All I've ever known, tell you that's the fucking story. All I've ever known, please, baby, don't ignore me. All I've ever known, never wanna change, but you're still there, lay it down, hand it over. Break it down, back it up. My Just got you a flight, a couple that don't gas me up. And now you think the word is in your hands, you're acting up. Yeah, my bitch is bad as fuck, and I got you mad as fuck right now. You saying you're the highest in the club right now. I'm gon' forget it, it's a dub right now. I never knew why. Why'd you go away, baby? Why'd you tell a lie? I thought we had everything, baby, don't kid. But you had to throw it all away, had to be the big. I'll make a split decision, man, I'll be the bigger kid. I got it good at time, baby, fuck with what it is, yeah. For what it is, baby, for what it is. I gotta know what it is, baby, for what it is. No, I what it is, baby, for what it is. I gotta go, never wanna change, but you still there, lay it down, baby, go. Break it down, back it up. I just got you a flight, a couple that don't gas me up. And now you think the word is in your hands, you're acting up. Yeah, my bitch is bad as fuck, and I got you mad as fuck right now. You saying you're the highest in the club right now. I think I'm gon' forget it, it's a dub right now. You saying you're the highest in the club right now. I think I'm gon' forget it, it's a dub right now.
Twist cabbage on instinct. Niggas don't think shit stink. Pink gators, my Detroit players. Tim's for my hooligans in Brooklyn. Dead right, if the head right, Biggie there, air night. Papa been smooth since days of under rules. Never lose, never choose to. Bruise, cruise, who? Do something to us. Talk goes through us. Girls want to us, wanna do us. Screw us, who us? Yeah, Papa and Pump. Close like Starsky and Hutch. Stick to clutch. Yeah, I squeeze 3 at your cherry M3. Bang every MC easily. Recently, niggas frontin' ain't saying nothing, so I just speak my peace, keep my peace. Cubans with the Jesus peace, with my peace. Packing, asking who want it. You got it, nigga flaunt it. That Brooklyn bullshit, we on it.
Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me, and I just love your flesh. Yes, it's why they're broken, you're so mean. Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me, and I just love your flashy ways. Yes, it's why they're broken, you're so mean.
I put hoes in NY onto DKNY. Miami, DC, prefer Versace. All Philly hoes know it's Moschino. Every cutie with the booty, more the coochie. Now who's the real dookie? Meaning who's really the shit? The niggas ride dicks. Frank White push the stick called the Lexus LX 4.5. Bulletproof glass tips if I want some ass. Gon' blast squeeze first. Ask questions last. That's how most of these so-called gangsters pass. At last, a nigga rapping about blunts and bras, tits and bras, menage a trois, sex and expensive cars, and still leave you on the pavement. Condo paid for, no car payment. At my arraignment, no for the plaintiff. Your daughter's tied up in the Brooklyn basement. Face it, not guilty. That's how I stay true. Richer than rich, so you niggas come and get. Come on.
Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me, and I just love your flashy ways. Yes, it's why they're broken, you're so mean. Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me, and I just love your flashy ways. Yes, it's why they're broken, you're so mean.
I can fill you with real millionaires.
How we doing?
What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? We're going to segment 3, the Hokie Spring Game Pregame Show. I'm Brian Siegler. How we doing, everybody? Let's hear some. Let's hear some. Let's give it up for Dave Fullan. Let's give it up for Steven. This tailgate has been epic. Just want to say thank you to those guys for setting everything up, getting this thing ready for us. Dan, what you got to say? You got something to say on that?
Oh, man, look, Steven and Nate didn't know each other, but they had a common denominator. It was me. And when I brought these two together, I honestly didn't know that this would be the vision, but I'm fucking glad it is.
All right. So we're gonna start a little different here. Hey, so we got our man, Pat Finn, right here, living in the zone. Sons of Saturday. What's up, Pat?
This is just so great to be with you guys. I'm so fired up to be here. And this is the James Franklin Inauguration Day. That's what I've been branding it as. And look at all the people that came out for it.
Hey, it's been a lovely time here. Like I said, the tailgate has been immaculate, and I really appreciate everybody. Obviously, Pat having a good time. Dan, we're back again. Me and you, round 3.
Round 4.
Officially, yeah.
Yeah.
We always got one in the chamber.
Yeah, we did Sharkies. We did Tots. We did Maroon Door. And now we're at the tailgate.
Hey, 3rd pregame show, 4th iteration of this festivity altogether. And down at the end, we got Ryan. What's going on, man?
How we doing? It's outstanding today. The vibes are immaculate. I was just talking with my dad. It feels like September. It feels like a true Virginia Tech game day. The parking lot is packed. The tailgates are rocking. I can't wait to get in there and watch this team play.
Hey, this is the, dare I say, let the shit fly a little bit segment. So we're going to let the shit fly a little bit. So that's the vibes. Everybody else, let's level set. Let's make sure that we're on the same page here. This is going to be a little looser. So we're going to start out. Enter Sandman at the tailgate. Is that the vibe? And is that the vibe if you're like a Hokie getting married? Is Enter Sandman in that repertoire? Or are we like, that's just for entrance only purposes?
I'm going entrance only. I think it's entrance only. I'm not a guy that likes it at the weddings. I'm not a guy that likes it at the tailgate. Save it. The anticipation builds right up to the Let's Go Hokies chant, and then the song starts playing in the stadium. I think you reserve it for Lane Stadium only.
There is something sacred about that song. I love that it's a point of debate, you know?
Yeah.
And everyone has their own opinions. To me, Enter Sandman at a wedding, you got to have the band playing it, and it's got to be late in the night. I'm not huge on the walking down or getting into the venue to Sandman.
All right.
But that's just my opinion.
So Pat is saying that if you've got a wedding band, if you're playing it live, if it's in the moment, it's acceptable. But otherwise, probably a little taboo. Dan, what you got?
I think if Metallica is playing your wedding, then yes, you can do it. Otherwise, leave it per the professionals at Lane Stadium.
All right. That's fair. You want the production there. You want to see the spectacle of Lane Stadium attached to that song at this point.
Because at a wedding, they might not all be Hokies. They might not even know what the hell is going on. So then you got 8 people jumping and 50 being like, what are they doing?
What are we doing?
Now at the tailgate, and shout out Tally, because I know Tally has opinions on this.
Oh, yeah.
I think the tailgate can kind of go either way. Some days you might be feeling it. Some days you might not be feeling it. If you're starting the season off, there's a 0 in the loss column, rip it.
Yeah.
If you the last 10 years at the tailgate and you're like got like a late October tailgate, it might not be as exciting to get fired up to it.
That's fair. Like, shout out my joy, Jay Sweaty. He commented on one of those tweets that Pete put out there. He was like, we play it every hour when things are going well.
Wow.
And we don't play it otherwise. So I think it's very much it probably depends on what the Hokies are putting out there from a win-loss record perspective.
Yeah, if you just lost to ODU by 1 million, probably not the time to be rocking Enter Sandman at the tailgate.
Yeah. Dude. Like, if you just lost ODU by 50, get online, register for a therapy session, and drink your feelings away.
There we go. All right, so we're gonna shift gears a little bit here, and since Pete's not on here, Sam's not on here, we're gonna talk a little too deep shit a little bit, okay? So,
welcome.
That's right. Yeah, Pat's up here. He's representing the crew here, but so Too Deep did a spring game draft of this roster, and we need to talk about it a little bit. So when we look at this roster, Ethan out the gate, JOJ out the gate, we get that. Those are great picks. The offensive line only gets one representative in the top 10 picks. So how do we feel about that? How do we feel about what Too Deep did with this overall spring game draft?
I would like to Brian Siegler is what I would like to do.
Hey, I appreciate that. Hey, you know what? I probably got at least a game in me left. Much beyond that, you're not getting a whole lot, Pat, but we'll see what we can do.
I think it just goes to show the overall opinion of, or the overall state of confidence or lack thereof that we've had on the offensive line the past several years.
Fair.
Yeah, I think it just also there's just the unknowns coming into this season about the offensive line. There's been a lot of injuries. Logan Howland's been out all spring camp. There's just been a lot of question marks. Been a lot of young guys. Michael Troutman's been getting a lot of reps. Justin Terry's been getting a lot of reps. And so it's like, we don't know. And so I'm hoping today we see some of these guys who've been unknown throughout spring ball, not only known to the guys who've been able to see practice, become more household names today on that offensive line.
And here's a question, Brian.
Hey.
I had to pop in.
Hey.
What do you want to do? You want to draft Aiden Lynch in your top 5? Is that what you want to do? Listen, I respect Aiden Lynch. He had to get in there because we had injuries last year. But Al Tuner, I think, is a top 10
Al Tuner is a top 10 pick.
Outside of that, it's very uncertain, as Ryan just kind of hinted at.
Hey, that's fair. And like, so that's why I hit Pete up as soon as this happened. I was like, hey, we got to have a conversation, because the Boundary Corner podcast, if you didn't know, is a trenches offensive line focused podcast, mainly because I am one of the primary hosts of the program, and we got a tight end on our program as well. So we are very much focused on how things are setting up from a blocking perspective, from a run game perspective. It's important. We care about that. We're going to pivot a little bit, and this is the last one before we start cycling some folks on and off here. But what I wanted to talk about, Franklin, we got the Franklin effect coming into Blacksburg. I feel like everyone's kind of feeling it right now. We see what's going on right here. This is a different level, weather aside, from what we were dealing with last year. So, like, what does the panel think from a Franklin effect? And let's compare that against other ACC coaches.
All right. Everybody, listen up. Hey, listen up. If you are fired up for James Franklin, everybody say, hey! Again, if you're fired up for James Franklin, everybody say, hey!
Hey!
Let's Franklin go!
Whoa. Dan, what's up, man?
Man, look, we finally have a coach. The vibes are high. I like this dude. He has a foot in a hand in every aspect of everything. I like that he takes the promises given to him by the AD, keeps them on a spreadsheet, and makes sure that they're getting done. I like the fact that he's not afraid to be or viewed as some sort of an asshole sometimes, because we need that. Every good coach,
deep in every
good coach is a little bit of an asshole, and I'm so thrilled knowing that everything that's supposed to look the way it's supposed to look is going to look the way it's supposed to look.
All right, Ryan, what you got, man? What you got on this one?
When you talk to James Franklin, I did press conferences last year with Brent Pry and Coach Montgomery, and they were both great people to talk to, great coaches, but it's different when you talk to James Franklin, the authority and just the presence that he brings. And I said this to Billy Ray the day of his introductory press conference. The air in Blacksburg felt different from day one. It felt like the level of the program had been raised, everything from the investment that's been made in the athletics into the football program, culminating in the hiring of James Franklin. It's just felt different. And when you talk about other ACC coaches, I'm like, Dabo Sweeney, Mario Cristobal, they've been to national championships. After that, James Franklin can go anywhere on that ranking for me.
Yeah. I mean, you're nailing it right now. Like, when you talk about like the top 2 or 3 guys in the coaching game, James Franklin is in that next breath with everybody else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you talk about Rhett Lashley, you talk about those SMU, you talk about the other guys in the ACC, like even nationally, he's in that next. Like it's like the guys who have won national championships, and then James Franklin, in my opinion, is the leader of that next pack.
He's at least at the top 2 of that next 2, and he's not he's in that conversation. So I think that's the big thing that we're looking at, and it's important because Virginia Tech needs to be relevant nationally again. I think that's the thing that we've been kind of achieving and wanting to get to since Beamer kind of moved away. We want to get back into national relevance. So that's important. Pat, how do you feel like James Franklin brings us back into national relevance?
So today, I think the first test for James Franklin is the fans getting into the stadium, and are these lines going to be congested, Or is it going to be the James Franklin effect where we just get straight to our seats right away? That's the first litmus test. In all seriousness,
Pat wants to know if the operations are still tight despite the Franklin effect.
Everything he does, you can just see it is palpable around town, on socials. Some of the work that the social media team has done, like, it's next level. Yeah, you're going to see these guys today, and a lot bigger guys on this football team than we've probably seen the last few years as well. I think just from top to bottom, end to end, holistically, I feel like I'm doing a lot of corporate speak here. James Franklin is going to elevate this program in so many ways, and I think all of Hokie Nation is so excited for it.
Dan, what you got?
I think we've already kind of seen it. I mean, immediately once he got hired, he was doing Pat McAfee. He was doing Get Up on ESPN. Josh Pate came to town. Like James Franklin is big news. James Franklin is big news. And he treats the program as if the program is big news. And he treats everything he does as if it's going to be big news, as if everybody's watching. And he doesn't care about really your opinion of what you're watching, but he cares about what he's watching, and he wants it to be excellent every time.
Tell me what you got.
He was on Josh Pate this week, and he's reiterated it multiple times. He says he wants everything in this program to look, feel, smell, taste, big time. Yeah, we need to figure out what big time smells like. I might ask Coach Franklin that after the game today.
Sorry.
Yeah, I need to ask what big time smells like it. But that just goes to show he's trying to improve this thing across the board. He's already made investments into changing the stuff on the walls, taking down stuff that was here during the Fuente era, and just making this program, elevating it into 2026 to compete with the top of college football.
I love what you said there, Ryan, and I really appreciate you kind of highlighting and underlining that point of that James Franklin wants this to operate like a big-time program. So, Ryan, we're going to cycle you out here. We got our buddy Chris Lester coming on. You know what?
Oh, boy.
Hey.
Let's go.
We got Chris Lester in the house.
Man, park that ass.
And you know what? We're going to talk a little bit about Keelan. We're going to talk a little bit about Keelan, but what we're going to start off with is these Penn State fans in our mentions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, Chris, I'm going to let you lead off on this. How many Penn State fans have been in your mentions, and what's that been like?
I mean, I feel bad for the bitter exes that are sitting there constantly talking about a guy that the program let go.
Yeah.
They told him we didn't want you anymore. So now they're sitting here saying, hey, he's going to suck. He's not going to do this. I don't care what you think. When she's my chick, she's my chick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The old school, it's fine. You had her before me, but now she's my chick. So I'm fine with them doing it. I laugh at them. I call them bitter exes. I say, pathetic men that are mad about the situation, but I'm glad he's here where we're at right now.
I appreciate that. We're going to take a little brief pause because Chris has a drink in front of him now. And so, no. Steven dropped you off a drink. So you got to do a little bit of that.
Salute.
There we go. Dan, tell me what you got.
About Penn State fans in our mentions?
Yeah, tell me about that.
Man, it's psychotic, dude. Like I could tweet like something completely irrelevant, and they'd be like, "Oh well, James Franklin," and I'd be like, "Brother, if you have to think about them for we hired him in what, end of October, early November?
End of October, yeah.
And you're still chirping, bruh.
What is going on?
She must have been great. That's like if you're still thinking about her now, she must have been great.
She had that thing.
So what you're telling me is you're lying to yourself to make yourself feel better that you lost out on the best thing you ever had.
Facts.
Hey.
And she's ours now.
Listen, I got nothing nice to say about Penn State fans on the internet. That's where I'm going to start. The unfollow button exists, and Penn State cannot hit that unfollow button. They just are deranged thinking about our guy, and it's really just sad. It's a sad state of affairs. You talk to your Penn State buddies, and like they're still kind of chirping at you, and you're like, dude, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry it didn't work out for you. We're gonna work out, and we're gonna have some fun.
Hey, so I'll piggyback on that because I got an offensive line coach from my time at Hampton-Sydney that was a Penn State grad, played on a national championship team for Penn State, and he's like, this is getting a little tedious. Chris, I see you chirping down there. I need to hear some more.
I mean, it's just every time they do it, I just laugh at them because they just can't stop. I mean, Pete will put something like, "Way to go, Franklin," and then they'll be like, "Oh, he ain't this. Can't wait till the big game. He's gonna." Hey man, sit your ass down over there in the corner. And so it's really to the point. Really, honestly, my wife keeps me from saying the stuff I really want to say.
Yeah.
So I just pretty much say, I just laugh at them, and then they'll come back with a long discord, and I'll be like, "Hey man, it's okay. She my chick now. It's over. So
Hey.
just sit back in the corner, and we good."
Hey, Chris, you speak really like you have a good filter in your wife, and I got a good filter in my wife.
Absolutely, yeah.
We got a good filter here, and I'm gonna shout her out. My wife Sarah is a very good filter for me because we were here last year, and if y'all remember, she showed me a graphic post game. Is like, "You're saying fuck too much," and I was like, "Probably yeah."
Yeah.
Probably yeah.
Because I have to be to the point where I know it comes back towards my kid.
Yeah.
So I keep it to the point I filter it that way.
Yeah, she definitely keeps me grounded, and I appreciate that about her.
Indeed.
Here's what we can do.
That's right.
Everybody tip their cap. Thank the Penn State fans for the engagement. Thank you for the engagement.
Absolutely.
You guys are easy, man.
Y'all are bringing us up, and you're not even trying to. So that's what matters. All right, Sands and Belen out of the football program in terms of overall interaction, right? Sands retiring in 6 months or so. We got Belen going out on my birthday, June 30th.
Yes, sir.
I couldn't think of a better birthday gift outside of what my wife can give me for my birthday. So let's go on. Is this an act of institutional alignment, or is this just something that was coming down the pike anyway?
Can I feel that one first?
Yeah.
It need to happen. And that's like an off, kind of off broad, off podcast conversation. But they did what they needed to do. Tim Sands was time for him to go. John Fullan knew where all the dead bodies were.
Yeah.
So I think it's just time for him to move on to the next step. He's been great for what he needed to do. So, I mean, as long as they align with what Franklin wants to do and what the next step of this program to go forward, that's the best thing to happen.
Word. Dan, what you got?
I mean, it's rare, I think, for a president of a university or anybody within athletic department
Jello shot
in a position of leadership to stay at a specific school for this long. So I think that fresh blood and fresh perspective is never a bad thing in any form of life or business. So, hey man, let's see what the new powers that be come up with for us.
Without question.
Fair enough. Pat, what you got?
I'm right there with Dan here. If we want to look, feel, taste, smell like a big time program, I think we need to have folks who are big time for football in those positions. And that's all I have to say about that. And I think this next rung of whoever that's going to be, I am hoping that James Franklin has his fingerprints all over it. Now, I will say that I know he doesn't have that jurisdiction as far as the president of the university, but I think there is certainly a statement being made with, the last 9 months of Virginia Tech football, with all the funding, with Coach Franklin being hired, that we are serious and we are at the table.
Yep.
And we're going to play because we are at the table.
So I get the fortunate position of kind of like bookending this whole thing here. And I think around this discussion is really important because when we look at what Sands brought to the table from an athletic standpoint, he was not a guy that was athletics first minded. So I'm excited about the next steps for this program from a football standpoint, from an athletics overall standpoint. I think it really goes to show that I think Virginia Tech is serious about wanting to be competitive in the ACC in general. Yeah, I agree. Pete said it's a 100-year move, and I like that. It's a move that says we are serious about football in general and athletics in particular. And I think it's going to play well long-term for Virginia Tech. Before we wrap up tonight or this afternoon or wherever we are,
the lights have gone out for Brian.
I'm used to doing this from a nighttime perspective, so I'm gonna say night. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna get Nate Fullan, we're gonna get Stephen Wright up here. Step forward, both of you real quick. We want to shout out the guys that did this thing for the podcast. These are the guys that hosted the tailgate. They did the thing for us. Nate, where's Steven? Step forward, guys.
Nate.
Nate, I know you hear
Go. Nate. That sausage, though.
It's my dude.
That sausage, though.
Mary and Drew, bring it up here.
Mary Karakoff. And Drew. We've broken the fourth wall on the filter.
We've broken the fourth wall for sure.
Oh, okay. So yeah, no, we appreciate everyone coming. Thank you guys for eating all this food. I really don't want to take any of it home. We have plenty. Please eat more.
Eat more.
Eat it.
Yeah, there's plenty of pulled pork over there. I don't know how we're looking on wings.
Those
All
are
right.
mine, so they're gone.
Wrap that shit
Nate,
up, baby.
say it fast and then go.
Say it and get out.
I'm out.
Yeah. We'll
And
see y'all in
Nate said
September.
him. Hey, come see the bourbon table.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate it, everybody.
Hey,
Thank you for tuning in to the Hokie Spring
Don't
Game
ever do that
Pregame
again.
Show. I got Pat here. I got Dan. I got Chris. Appreciate Pete and
Love
Sam for
y'all,
what
man.
they do. Ryan for what he does. We're signing off.
Yo, well, hold
See
on.
you at the spring game.
Hold on. Mad
you got?
shout out for Curtis
Hey.
and Jonathan, Prometheus, Tally,
Hey.
my guys, forever. Hey, and the unknown that we talk to all the time, Dwight Vick. You know that we talk to on a regular basis,
The
man.
Godfather.
Much love to them.
And happy birthday to Billy Ray.
Happy birthday, Billy Ray.
30th. We miss you. He's in San Diego.
San Diego.
Wales, Virginia.
A whale's vagina. Thank
We
you,
out.
everyone. Everyone, we're going to sign off on whale's vagina.
Let's go.
Hokies!
Let's go.
Hokies!
Let's go.
Hokies!
Alignment.